Hello everybody, my name is Korosh Erfani and I am sociologist and uh, writer of the book called Infinitylogy. In this video I would like to talk about the necessity to have a philosophy for life or not. One of the main questions in our life is why we are here, why we have to keep going with our life, what's the purpose of life, and what we have to do during our lifetime. So all these questions push us toward a better understanding of the situation in which we are as the human being on the earth, as one of the planets of the sun, and the sun as one of the stars of the Milky Way galaxy, and so on. In general, what we are doing in this infinite universe. So one of the issue is to find a purpose by which we can effectively face the different situations in which we have to deal with a lot of problem issues and so on. So in other words, we can say that we need a compass. This compass can help us to navigate in the oceans and sometimes in a very stormy ocean of life. So this need of philosophy is even bigger right now in the 21st century, because we start to have too much information, and sometimes really the bad, and worrisome information, news, data that are giving us a huge stress, and we don't know how to deal with that. And that's why most people are going toward, the drugs or alcohol or the things like that. But if we are equipped with a philosophy, we can effectively use it as a compass and know exactly what is a good direction in the life, and then we can keep this direction in order to arrive to something that can be satisfying, can be kind of remedy for these very painful question of what I am doing in my life. So we need a purpose in life. We need a philosophy for life. One of the reasons for which I started to work on this book, Infinitylogy, and as you can see, the subtitle is How to Make Infinity Your Philosophy for Life, was effectively to provide a framework in which we can elaborate, we can build up a philosophy for our life. I didn't want really to formulate a philosophy itself, because it doesn't make sense in a world that is changing all the time. You cannot really create a fixed frame for something that is not fixed, that is evolving all the time. So that's infinitism is a kind of philosophical theory, which means it's a philosophical tool, to create effectively our philosophy for life. So the difference with the ideology or the packaged philosophies that are already ready and just to take and to use, we refuse this idea, because most of religions, for example, are doing that, and we know that the result is not really very brilliant. we can say. We need effectively something that can fit, that can suit to the 21st century situation, which means a very unstable situation, a very varying and changing situation, and the people should have more the tools than the ideas. The idea change. Any idea is changing all the time, and we cannot really grasp it in order to keep ourselves safe, in a very shaky world in which we are living. We need something beyond that, and that's why infinitism is there to provide a few tools that can be used for us to go, through all the issues, problems, troubles that we can have in our life. So, the main idea of infinitism is very simple, is that the possibilities to experience what we call happiness are unlimited, So, which means that in order to go through all the problems that we have, we should keep in our mind that the number of the solution that we can have to overcome these problems, these issues, these crises are unlimited. When we keep in our mind that the number of solutions is unlimited, it means that there is no problem, there is no crisis, there is no trouble, there is no real issue that we cannot overcome, that we cannot really get by. So that's why if we start to see the infinite possibilities that are in the real world, we start to see the world, differently. And from this starting point, we can also think about the endless possibilities that we have in every single thing. Every single thing can have lots of possibilities for us as the human being, as the being that is intelligent, that is creative, that is what it is, mankind, the human beings, the intelligent beings, the creative beings. So what we can do is to start to see in everything the endless, the unlimited, the uncountable number of possibilities, chances, opportunities to change, to create, to invent, and to solve the problems. So that's why if we believe in the presence of infinitude in everything, then we will change our vision on everything. And everything means life, world, nature, universe, So the main recommendation in the infinitism is to discover infinity, It's not just to say that, okay, you have to accept it, you have to believe in it, and then you will be happy. No. Infinitism is, first of all, the search of infinity. We have to go through any reality that we want to change, any issue that we want to solve, any problem that we want to overcome. And then what we have to do is to look for the infinite possibilities that we can have. So that's why we talk about the Infinitylogy. And Infinitylogy is the way that we get the knowledge about the infinity in the structure of matter. we get knowledge about how the matter could be effectively an infinite structure with infinite and endless possibilities. So there is a technical part of this discussion, which is the infinitylogy. But once we have this idea of, or this methodology of finding the infinity and the infinite possibilities in the matter, then we come back to the infinitism, according to which now we can use this knowledge on the infinite possibilities to change our life, to change our society, to change our world, to change the universe. You know, when you know that the resources that you have for doing something are infinite, so it's obvious that you can put, the goal, the objective, farther and farther. Why? Because there is no any limitation for your resources. You can have anything you want. You can have anything that's necessary to realize the craziest idea that you can have. The most ambitious ideas or projects that you can have for your life, for your society, for the humanity, or anything else. Why? Because the infinitylogy is telling us that the matter with its infinite structure is there in order to provide everything that you need and as much as you need. So, tell me, where is the point of for being worried about the limitation of resources, limitation of time, limitation of the human resources for realizing the project? There is no limit. There is no any border. There is no any end. There is no any freeze situation in which we are taken, we are grasped, we are trapped. No. Everything is changing, and we can take control of this change in order to direct it, to channel it toward what we want. I know that this idea can seem very crazy at the beginning. We have been educated, with the idea of the scarcity, with the idea of the limited resources. All the time we have been told that there is the unlimited desire by men, and on the other hand, there are the limited resources for. So that's why we have to, control our desire, our want, our wish, our wills, in such a way that we can effectively deal with this limited and framed, idea of resources. Infinitism is telling us that it's not true, that we should try to free ourselves from this vision, because this vision is very, constraining, is very limiting. It puts our idea and our imagination in a fake prison, in a fake cage. Beyond that, you cannot go. Why? Because we don't have resources, so forget about that. Infinitism says that no, effectively there is no any limit for any idea that we can have. As I said in the book, we can do the things that are right now even very hard to imagine. But not only we can imagine them, we can realize them. If and only if we go through this idea that we have to find the presence of the infinite process of change in the structure of matter, learn how we can intervene, how we can interfere in this process, take control of one part of this process that is necessary to reorient that, to redirect that, and then we can effectively bring this process of, infinite change in the structure of matter, in the substance of matter, towards what we want, towards the goal that we had fixed for ourselves. This is what we are doing with science and technology for decades, for centuries, right? But because of the lack of philosophical vision, the science had been unconsciously, limiting itself to doing a little, not that much that it really can. It really is able to do. So that's why the recommendation of the infinitism is to, free the science from this unconscious philosophy of watching the world, viewing the world, seeing the world as a limited setting, and to change this idea with another one, with another vision, according to which in the world, in the universe, and technically speaking in the matter, there is no any limitation, and you can do anything you want with the matter. This is the most flexible thing that you can imagine. The matter, the material things. They are ready to take any shape, any quantity, any direction, any substance that you want. Only if you know how to do so, to do it. If you know exactly, the way to do so, which means knowledge and technology. But in order to going toward the acquisition of this knowledge, creation of this knowledge, and then to creation of the tools that you need as technology, you first need a philosophy. You need a philosophical view. You need a unlimited frame for working on the matter. Unlimited frame, which means a frame that is going, to where you want. There is no predeterminate endpoint. You can push it as much as you want. This is what is the universe. This is what is the matter. But the matter is there to help us, and this is our opportunity as a part of this matter, that we can, because we have the intelligence, because we are able to create knowledge, science, tools, technology, and everything that everything that's necessary to change the matter. Because we have this opportunity, we have this chance, we have to use it. And you see that instead of that, what we did during the human history, we are trying to fight, to struggle, to kill each other, to colonize each other, to occupy the territory of each other in order to use the resources. Why? Because we think that these resources are, limited. They are with a fixed quantity, and everybody should try to have more and more for themselves. This is completely ridiculous when we know that, when we start knowing that the material world has no any limited capacity. The capacity, the capability, and what they are able to provide us, the material world, is unlimited. So, how this philosophy can help us? By the fact that once we start to just use our imagination for seeing and projecting what this philosophy is able to, integrate, to implement in our life, we see that the life and its definition start to change fundamentally, completely. Imagine that we can live in a, classless society, for example, where there is no more any economic or social necessity to classify the people, to arrange the people in a pyramidal structure. We don't need to layers, we don't need to the social classes in order to attribute, more resources to one and deprive another one from access to the resources. We can do all of these, removing the historical necessity of the social classes from our society. It would be ridiculous to, have any social differentiation, social segregation, social distanciation because of the idea of the scarcity, that we cannot give access to everybody for these resources. We should control them, we should put the majority of the resources for the minority and make or do in such a way that the minority could be satisfied, or anyway accept to deal with the minor part of the resources. We can't change that. We are not doomed to live in this stupid structure of class forever. We can easily get a classless society if we know how to use the unlimited resources of the universe, nature, the world. We can start to imagine that we don't have to deal with any end, anything that could be considered as an end point in our life could be removed. We accept it because we have been instructed for, The dominant system based on the idea of the scarcity is telling us that, all right, there is an end for everything, so you cannot have your health, the physical or mental health forever. No, you cannot. You cannot have your youth, this idea of the eternal life. You cannot have that. There is an end, there is death, you have to die. Why? Because we have been instructed, we have been educated, we have been believing in it. And that's why we are ready to die, we are ready to disappear, and we don't think how grateful, how amazing could be a world in which we can keep our human resources. Imagine if individual is a resource for creating pleasure and happiness for themselves and for everybody else. But as we accepted that we are obliged, we are forced to go through the life cycle and there is an end for this cycle, then at age of 70, 80, 90 or more, you have to die. You know, we cannot for a second imagine that, no, we don't have to accept it. We don't have to accept any end point, any limitation imposed by something else than our will based on our intelligence, our creativity, our inventions, our innovations. We don't have to accept that. And this means an eternal life. You know, we are very, very far from that point, but I am talking just about imagining it. And I'm talking about the imagination of the eternal life, not the eternal life itself. You are far from that. But as you know, every invention, every innovation starts with imagination. First, we have to imagine that, and then we will be curious about, is there any way, is there any actual way to get there? And from that moment, we start to create, we start to understand better the things, we start to discover the things that to which we didn't pay attention before. Yes, we can have an classless society, we can have an endless life, we can have a painless world. You know, imagine a world in which the alive beings are not forced. Human beings, animals, they don't have to have any pain. You know, they don't have to suffer. We can have a painless society, a painless world, a sufferingless world, you know, a world without suffering, without pain, without catastrophe. We can have that. We can have a warless war, you know, a world in which there is no more necessity to warfare. Why? Because there is as much as you want everything for anyone. So what would be the motivation for making war? You know? So that would be an opportunity to effectively experience what we can call happiness. And we should know that we never experienced that until now, and we are far from experiencing it for the close future. What we can do is just to imagine it, to conceive it as a project, and then to try to realize that, to achieve that. Infinitism is a philosophy for this. Infinitylogy is a field of study to produce the knowledge for that. So that's why I invite everybody who is watching this video to think about this. You know, it's not question. Infinitism doesn't have to convince you or to make it accept. No, it's just intellectual suggestion in order to motivate, you know, our brain to start to go beyond what is the most obvious that had been established in our mind. You know, the objective of the infinitism is before anything to free our mind from these cliché, you know, from these stereotypes that look so, you know, obvious, so simple that we accepted it without even any question. That we have to die. That is necessary to have the social classes, that the people are not really equal, or the things like that. All of these could be questioned, could be seriously and with argument, with serious, solid arguments put in question if we start to see the world otherwise. It's just we can just try. Let's have a trial of a different philosophical view on the world, on the universe. Infinity is there as a verifiable reality in the matter. But the problem is that we didn't see infinity as an operational concept to change the world. We see that as a intellectual, philosophical, mathematical concept, but never as an actual and operational concept that can change completely our civilization, our fate, our future. We can do that. Infinitism is suggesting to do that. That's why we can think about it collectively and use our collective wisdom in order to see how it would be possible or not to use the infinity as a philosophy for our life, and then a philosophy for changing the science, changing the technology, changing the world, changing our civilization, and going far, far beyond where we are for thousands and thousands of years. We will see. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please give your views on this video in the comment part. Also, if you are interested to have this book of infinitism that explained almost all of the subjects with examples, and case studies, you can go and order this book on Amazon. You have the link of the Amazon on the comment part, and I hope that you will enjoy the lecture and viewing this video. We will continue this discussion later with more videos. Thank you very much.